Hello, good morning, everyone. Good to see a few jumping on. Kevin, straight off the bat, good morning to you all the way from Florida. Tando, morning, mate. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Good to see a bunch of you on right now, as always. Good stuff. All right, there we go. Hey, Melinda, good morning to you. Chris, Luke, Trace, James. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Do some quick intros while things are warming up, while the internet's warming up, while the Facebook land is warming up. Jason Witten's my name. Most of you know that, but if you don't, if you're new, as always, welcome to the show. Jeff's feeling wealthy today. Hey, listen, we all should be happy. We're the wealthiest people on the planet, according to a new report. Let's talk about that today. But anyone who's new, say hello in the chat. Give us a shout out. Where are you from? Where are you? What's going on? Let us know. Say hello. Some of you might be dropping by. Some of you might have joined the coaching and mentoring program. We've been coaching and mentoring Aussies and Kiwis for over 20 years in building their property portfolio. Along the way, we've seen one or two things. We've done one or two deals. Matter of fact, our clients own over 10,000 properties, $6 billion worth of real estate we've helped people acquire over the last 20 odd years. We've been tracking that, probably a bit more actually, because for the first 5 to 6 years, we didn't keep any records. So there you go. Anyway, along the way, we've paid attention, we've learned a few things, and each morning, I get a chance to share with you some of those things, some experience, some understandings, some opinions, some facts. So all of us as property investors can make sure we go the distance, because this thing's a marathon, not a sprint, folks. Most of you know that I've got a couple of sayings. One of them is that, one marathon, not a sprint. The other is to buy well and never sell. Residential property investing is a long-term game, and certainly for many property investors, the media is a terrible source of information and inspiration. So that's what this show's about. Information, maybe inspiration, maybe just a gathering of like-minded cool people who want to make a fist of it when it comes to their property investment portfolio. So there you go. That's who we are. That's what we're up to. Welcome to this morning's Wealth Coffee Chat. So, how are you feeling out there? Are you feeling like the wealthiest people in the world? Australians are the world's richest people, according to this Credit Suisse report, folks, which is interesting right now, right? But tell me, in the chat, tell me right now, a yes or a no. Are you feeling like the richest people in the world? And it's subjective, I suppose. Probably not the right question. But for many Aussies and Kiwis, because Kiwis are up there as well, our wealth has skyrocketed in recent times. Where is the majority of the Australian wealth locked up in? Where is it? No, Melinda said. But where, in this report, where is the majority of the Australian wealth locked up? There's two places why on paper Australians look very wealthy, but necessarily day to day they can't, shout you a coffee. Number one, property, Melinda. So Aussies, which is perfectly fine, I'm a big fan of it, have quite an obsession around property. And there's a few reasons why property is so valuable in Australia. How do they class millionaires? Yep. There you go. Well, it's a great question. That's a quality question, Josh. How do they class it? It's certainly to do with the equity in your properties. But it's saying here, nation has 2.2 millionaires and 4,630 people worth more than 100 million. Worth more than 100. Yeah, it's their worth. And Jeff is on it. It's your super and your real estate. But so on paper, oh, looks like my internet has just crapped itself for some reason. All right, let's see if is it coming back. Oh, I don't know what happened there, folks. Hopefully the internet, hopefully it's fine. Looks like, yeah, it's a weird one. Sometimes the old internet falls out. Let me know if we're still live. Let me know if you're still there and we're still going. It looked like my internet dropped out. Give me a shout in the chat. Let me know. Are you still there, folks? Let me know. Bum, bum, bum. Waiting. Still here. Jolly good. Anyway, that was strange. So, listen. Why are we on paper the wealthiest people in the world, but in liquid cash or capital, not so much? It's because the majority of our wealth, folks, is locked up in two places. It's locked up in two places, which is our super and our principal place of residence. So tell me in the chat, again, this is for all of us to get interactive here this morning. Can you get access? Can you use, by and large, for most people, and let's say all of us as property investors are starting to use at least some of our assets which are locked up to do something now, but can you use your super today to do some things like, I don't know, go on a holiday, have some fun, et cetera, can you use your home, by and large, most people, your house, to do stuff with? So you've got all this wealth in your home and you've got all this wealth in your super, but you can't use it. Right, Nintendo? Exactly. Hey, Alison, welcome back. Good to see you. Oh, you ended up in the Facebook banned land. Yes, it can get a bit of a challenge, a bit of a problem, that one. Well, great to have you back, Alison. We have missed you. But you can't use it, can you, folks? You can't use this wealth that is supposedly around. So check it out. The difference in mean and median. Anyway, it looks good no matter which way you slice or dice it. Aussies, the mean wealth is when you add it all up and divide it by the number of things or whatever it might be. So we're at number 4. Doing all right. Australia, doing all right. The average Aussie, the mean wealth, $500,000. And, the median, which is kind of in the middle, the Aussies are looking pretty good. So for all of us as property investors, SMSF can buy property. Yes, it can. Certainly can. Nadine, absolutely. You can take control of your own super if that's appropriate. Talk to your financial planner and see if that's appropriate for you. However, you don't get personal. You don't get sort of today use of these resources. And it's all like for later, right? It's for later. It's when you're 60 and 65 and things like that. Now, that's the way it is, folks. There's not much we can do about that. But, what is important for us as investors as we go forward is to understand how we can, take this feeling of wealth that we are, the wealthiest Aussies in the world, or wealthiest on paper in the world, and maybe see if we've got the right strategy or we understand what to do. And there's 3 rules. There's 3 basic but very powerful rules when it comes to creating your wealth. And other than buy well, never sell, and this thing's a marathon, not a sprint, and all of those sorts of things. But there's 3 very fundamental things as an investor if you want to use or get access to wealth now or create wealth for now and into the future. Let's have a look at what they might be. Rule number 1. Anyone know what the most fundamental rule of creating wealth is? Creating wealth. I'm not making these up. I'm just repeating them that I've heard around the traps. They're not new. Yeah, you can use your equity to buy investments as well. Absolutely. And that's what we're talking about, Nadine. You know, if you are, if you're not an investor and you've got a home and you've got got super, but you're not doing anything with it, it's what I call lazy money, right? Lazy money. It's pretty useless, right? So you can go ahead and leverage it. Number one rule, leverage is good, certainly, Luke. But number one rule is in the world of investing, it is spend less than you. Tell me, finish it off for me. You maintain your job, pay yourself first. I like it, Alison. And this is a version of the world. Tell me what it is. Number one rule: spend less than you what? Say it out loud to me. Say it out loud. All right, I want to see it in the chat. Number one rule in the world of money and investing is spend less than you earn. All right. Unfortunately, the challenge, and I've seen this, you know, we've done like thousands. It'll be well over 5,000 loans for investors. Actually, probably a lot more. I'm going to add them up, actually, because we've done over 10,000 properties. So, you know, we've probably done at least half of the loans for people. Spend less than you earn, folks. No matter which way you slice or dice this, if you have, you know, things like bad debt and credit cards and all sorts of other things that you've already spent your future, basically, you will not be able to invest, or it'll be very difficult for you to invest and create your own wealth now, like unlock your wealth now, okay, as you go along, right? And away we go. So spend less than you earn. Absolutely fundamental. Second important rule is, and Alison said it right there. So pay yourself first, right? Pay yourself first. Now, what does that mean in our world? And it's a little bit different for business owners and PAYG career people, but the same ideas apply. Spend less than you earn, okay? Pay yourself first. Now, when we say pay yourself first, that means we pay ourselves first to do what with that money? Tell me in the chat right now. Yes, you have to take care of the basics. You know, on the way through, for most of us, we have commitments that we need a place to live and some other basics, which is fine. That means you have to spend less than you earn. You pay yourself first, but with that money, serviceability, yes, we use it for servicing, but what we do is we use that money to invest. Folks, pay yourself first. And I've said this for a long time. Of your gross income, gross or net, gross income, you should be deploying as a minimum of 30% of what you earn into assets. All right? Now, you just have a think about that right now. And do 10% savings? Absolutely. Boom. Always be investing. Always be investing. Now, for a lot of us, 30% could be like, holy dooly, Jason, like 30% of my earnings into investing. Well, when you think about it, or when you have a little look, fortunately or unfortunately, we're being forced to have 10% go into our super anyway. So that's a tick in the box. That's a tick in the box, folks. The average Aussie right now is, in cash terms, paying between 20 and 30% of their ongoing income in tax, right? And so for many of us, and we do this all the time, you guys know this because you're property investors, we get the right properties, we can reduce that down, to 10% or 5% as we go along. So it's not necessarily directly 30% straight off the top, but sometimes we do it through leverage and lending and buying other assets that mean, as a net outcome, a result for us as investors, that 30% becomes pretty powerful compounding over time. That's, that is for all of us something we must continue, must have a look. And the last but not least, wealth rule is so important. So important. We all know that wealth is a long-term game. Buy well, never sell. This thing's a marathon, not a sprint. It is about the long term, and it's about consistency, all right? Spend less than you earn. Make sure you invest. Pay yourself first. Invest what you need to, and then make sure you stick with it over time, because the compounding outcome is pretty significant, right, folks? And you guys have seen this one before. Let's go over have a look at the idea. Let's say we're starting out with an owner-occupier property. We're going, right, I want to create $100,000 worth of passive income, and I want to create some wealth, right? If you own this property and, you let it go for 30 years, at the end of the day, what might it be worth? You get some equity, you pay it off, whatever it is. That's fantastic. Nothing wrong with that. If you have a look up at the top here, this is your owner-occupier property. In 15 years' time, that's still a pretty nice amount of equity. Again, folks, you can't use that equity because it's your owner-occupier. Well, you can use the equity, but you can't create cash flow out of it if you don't use the equity. So lazy money. So what do? You guys know this. We deploy it into assets. Buy one property, buy two investments, buy three investments, and even 3 investment properties, team. Even 3 investment properties based on, where we have an aim as a minimum for all of us as property investors to achieve and get to. That's pretty good. You have a look at the equity and the value up here. You have a look at the cash flow starting to kick in for us as property investors. This is how we unlock the money that we have locked up in our owner-occupier property, right? Buy a fourth. For most property investors, 5 investments down here. If we look at this, 5 investments is going to take around about $500,000 of cash or equity. That's the approximate. Now, it doesn't all have to be in 500,000. You might have 200,000, and you redeploy it each time we go, right? As we go along, right? So, here's the drill. Make sure we understand these rules of investing, right? Spend less than you earn. Yes, you need to make sure that you're not overextended, okay? Pay yourself first. Invest the money. 30% minimum of your income is to be deployed into the future of your wealth. And rule number 3, be patient. Take your time. Don't get caught up in the media mayhem and bull. It's a long-term game, folks. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and certainly when it comes to good quality real estate, the idea the longer you own your real estate, the better off you're going to be. Let's have a look at this. Let's say in 30 years' time, have a look at what that equity might be. So today, I mean, this stuff's mind-blowing, folks. And I put 5% growth a year. Even if you put 3% in there, which is super conservative anyway, just put 3% in there. It's still $9 million. Still $9 million. Like, that's still pretty good. And the debt's all paid out, you know, and we've got a pretty good passive income as we go along, right? So, you know, for all of us as property investors, what's the goal? What are you up to right now? You know, don't worry about the short-term machinations of the, you know, the normal market movements. Your plan is a long-term plan to create your wealth as you go along. So there you go. Aussies are wealthy, according to Chris Swiss Credit, the wealthiest in the world, right? Where is it here? There you go. Wealthiest in the world. The challenge is it's locked up in places that most Aussies don't use. But for you and me, smart Aussies, and maybe Kiwis listening in, we know how to unlock that and turn it into, you know, significant wealth that we can take advantage of now and into the future. There you go. Anyway, hopefully that was useful, folks. Another Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted. Great to see all of you guys on this morning. Thanks for joining me. Good to see you back, Alison. Yeah, I like that, Alison. Schedule financial date nights with yourself. I like it. Yeah, inevitably, I have a date night with my wife, Shay, at least every fortnight, sometimes even more often. And we inevitably talk about our wealth and our financials all the time. I think it's important. It's an important part of life to talk about your resources and what you're doing with them. I think that's a great idea. Anyway, folks, there you go. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted. Over and out. Join me tomorrow for another Wealth Coffee Chat, as always. Jazz and finance. I like it, Melinda. Yeah, actually, that'd be fun. Bit of dancing. All right, that's it. Done. See you guys tomorrow. Another 8:10. Remember that on Thankful Thursday. That's it. Take care. Bye for now, folks. Cheers.